tell me a little bit about yourself, about your platform, as well as I know you got many other things going on in terms of break even and your prize money tournament that I need to sign up for somehow myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been out of college now for about, I think, going on my third season out coming up this spring. So I graduated from Tech from 2014 to 2018, studied business at Tech, and then, got in the business world, and worked some sales jobs, and nothing really ever sticked. And so I was like, you know what, my dad's an entrepreneur, so I've been kind of seeing what he's doing, and some ideas, presented themselves, and so I've just been running with them ever since. Just haven't looked back.
Nice, nice. Very cool, very cool. And your platform, what was your inspiration behind starting your platform and kind of digging into all these different segments?
Yeah. So college tennis recruiters started with two. I have two partners as well, Felipe and Taylor, and all three of us. I mean, at least Taylor had a very unique college experience and college recruiting experience, and mine was an absolute disaster as well because I just had no idea. I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. I really wanted to go to Alabama because I'm from Mobile, and so that I'm a big Alabama fan, and then it didn't end up working out. And so I was, a senior sitting in January and looking to go to school in August with no offer, no nothing. And I was like, what do I do? And so basically, where we created, CTR to try to, make sure no one else, goes into this experience and goes through that recruiting process in that same light, and try and really give them some good tools, good resources, from how we went through it and the best ways that we are seeing kids can make the right decision for them, whether they're wanting to go pro after college, whether they're wanting, good education, all those types of things, where exactly in the US do you want to go? Do you want to be in the mountains? Do you want to be in the city, on the beach, or wherever? We're really trying to make sure that kids are making the best decision for themselves for the next 4 years. So it's been working out really well. So we're excited to keep rolling with it.
To be totally honest, I love your guys' platform because, when you want to go to that next level, people don't necessarily understand what are those key steps you have to take. And having a platform other than the racket, I saw the video you posted the other day that was posted of maybe it was Duke and
Yeah.
Matt Point. I mean, those things resonate with kids today, and I think it's such an important tool for players who want to get recruited to understand what's the best way to go about it. To your point of you put all your eggs in one basket, right? I mean, I did something similar, except I had call it two baskets and one worked out for me. But I mean, I couldn't agree more. I just think having a service that really focuses on helping people get recruited, but more importantly, like I want to go to Michigan, I want to go to Michigan State, but realistically, my level may not be there. So where is somewhere I can go that I'll have a great experience, great competition, and become a better person? And I think sometimes we can get lost in the clouds of, thinking maybe I should be playing one at the best school in the country versus going to a mid-major and having playing one on the team and having a great experience. So I think
Yep.
there's a lot of good to what you guys are doing. So kudos to that.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yep.
And on that note, in terms of, recruiting, you're helping people get recruited. What are you seeing nowadays that are some of the most important attributes to getting recruited? What would you say?
I would say a couple of the kids that we're helping out with internationally, their rankings don't really reflect where they are play wise. And so what we're really trying to do is get video of these kids playing matches, not recruiting videos, because you talk to all the college coaches, they get a recruiting video from all these other recruiting firms who have them, make this nice, pretty video that makes a player look like a god on video. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to see him. His UTR says he lost to a kid 2-2. I want to see how he looks when not okay. Yeah, I know he can play this high. I know everyone's good at D1, D2, D3, NAIA, just college level in general. Everyone can play, but I want to see how they act under pressure, how they act when they're down, when things aren't going well. Coaches want to see something unique. And so what we're trying to assist with these players is really get some raw live footage, some match play sets and stuff like that of these coaches watching how, kids are making decisions. Are they serving and volleying? Are they looking to finish at the net? Those are the types of players where if their ranking doesn't necessarily reflect what they're seeing on the video, they're saying, okay, this kid's got some potential. So I might be taking a shot on this kid because, he's an 11, but he's playing a 13 UTR and he's beating him in a set. So clearly there's a disconnect there in terms of ranking to actual ability. And so that's something that we are helping. And it's actually pretty interesting is that coaches, as much as UTR is a great tool, and I think it's a really good tool. They don't really worry too much about it. What they're looking at is for a kid who's going to fit in their program, who's going to come in working hard, who wants to fight for their spot in the lineup, and is a good student, all those types of things. And so it's interesting on the other side of it because as a player, you think, oh, you are so worried about that number next to your name that you'll travel all over the world, you'll do all sorts of things to get this number by your name, and that's just not what coaches are looking for. To be honest, they're looking for a kid who's working hard, who's got a good attitude, good student, a good friend, someone who's teachable. All those types of things are someone they're looking for. And if you've got to play at D1, it's not really going to matter. It might get you a little bit more money in the front end, but if you get in and you blow it out of the water, I went in as a walk on to Tech, and then by my senior year, I'm playing line two, and getting on a full ride and everything like that. So you can work your way um, into a scholarship. It doesn't always stay there. So that's something in a long answer. That's
No, I mean it was good. It was good, and the one thing you said that really resonated with me is I actually was an assistant coach at Toledo, and um, every recruiting video was the same. It's like, oh, this player can play, or video maybe sped up or something like that. But to give people raw footage is the most important thing because, like, I know at a D1 level, you can play when you're playing well, but how do you look when you're not playing well? Are you throwing your racket? Are you frustrated? Are you upset? Are you not behaving in a way that would resonate or relate to our culture at our school? So that to me, I would much rather see a player lose and see how they conduct themselves than to see a player, continuously win because you're kind of going in like this is great when they're winning, but what's going to happen when they lose? You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, it's all about how kids are dealing with adversity, and a lot of kids nowadays are pretty soft and they just kind of fold under pressure and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm kind of helping out coaching a little bit and trying to get some of these players, just realizing, figure out how you win points, figure out your game style, your purpose on court, and go out there and commit to it 100%. And if you lose a point committing to your game plan, you do not get mad. The only time I think you should get mad is when you know what to do and you're not doing it. That's a different story. And that's where, that level, if you can't step up to the plate in a match and deliver on what how you win points and how the best way you can win points, that's where you might look at a smaller school option, which isn't bad. It's just some players, if being the best and playing D1 or playing pro was easy, everyone would be doing it, right?
Right.
Even D1, such a small percentage of players can actually make it at that level. Um, and so it's hard, it's tough, and there's got to be a way for you to differentiate yourself and be able to win at that level too. Because line two at Tech, everyone's a 13-5 UTR, everyone can smack the ball, everyone's got it, and there's just that tiny, slight little difference between winning and losing, and it's tough.
Yeah, and at least it's funny because at least when you're playing high in the lineup, one, two, or three, I always say you don't have to worry if someone's going to be good because no matter who you play, mid-major, small D1, large D1, like everybody's going to be able to play. You know what I mean? So I
Yep.
always tell myself that's one thing I don't have to worry about. I know this guy's going to be good, so I need to make sure mentally I'm prepared to play. My recruiting days and a lot of the questions I answered, and even when I was coaching, a lot of the questions that I asked was, trying to figure out, are they good people? Because I know
Mm.
you can play. You're on campus because I think you can play, but are you a good person? Are you going to do your job? Are you going to go to class? Are you going to do those little things that I don't have to micromanage you? are you going to be an athlete? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
uh,
I would say another big thing that I just remembered is being a good team player, because something I try to emphasize when I do my live videos to try and get people to be aware of this is that junior and pro tennis are in that very individualistic mindset. You're going out in tournaments and you're trying to win a tournament. It's all about you. You get into college tennis, it is not about you anymore. It is all about the team, and it's all about, in a dual match, you can go out there and get your butt whooped, and your teammate could be trying to clinch the match on the next court over. So you got to suck it up, lose your match, and then go and cheer him on and try and make sure that your team still wins. And so that transition, a lot of kids, a lot of people like, just sticking to themselves, and they're good, going and traveling and grinding in tournaments. Some players like me, I hated it. I hated junior tennis. I hated traveling, could not stand it. It was awful. I really didn't travel much outside the Southeast. I just drove, the furthest I drove was probably 5 hours to a tournament, and that was it. But luckily the South is pretty stacked. So in my year, we had a pretty good showing, and so I didn't really have to travel too much. But yeah, there's some junior kids that just don't acclimate well, or it takes them a year or two to acclimate to that team setting. They want to get in, they practice, they're just worried about what they need to work on that day and not what the team needs. And some guy could be down that day from his girlfriend broke up with him, or he had a bad test or anything like that. You got to go pick him up and help him out, and because it's all about the team. And you got to be ready for game day on your matches. And that dynamic is interesting. It's very, very different. I wish that there was something outside of college that they've tried to dabble with the world team tennis, but still, it's that dynamic with college tennis is just very, very unique. And I really, really like it, because you learn so much more than just how to win a tennis match when you're on a team, and it's all about that. That's why a lot of football players and basketball players and stuff like that, if they go pro or after pro, they end up doing so much more than just what they do on the basketball court, on the football field. And with tennis, you see guys that retire, and then they don't really do, like, they might go on and be like a speaker for matches, like commentate or things like that. But there's no like that team mindset. I just feel like builds a lot of character off the court, if you really hone in on it. And so some people acclimate well to it, some people don't. And it's a very unique time to work on things. You're working on a tennis game, but you're working on a lot of other things as well.
yeah, no, that for sure, for sure. I think that um, difference between junior tennis, college tennis, and pro tennis. I mean, I think you're spot on because it's like you said, it's about the team. And I remember back in my playing days, win or lose, I was gonna make sure I put my stuff down and go cheer on someone else because I knew win or lose, that's great. However, it's about the team. It's about something bigger than myself. And that does take some work to get used to because you're so used to being in your silo when you're playing for yourself.
Yep.
And it's really, if you've only grew up playing tennis, it's most likely one of the only, team experiences you've had thus far, which is
Yep.
why, I think, some kids tend to be selfish because that's what they're used to, right? So I think it's definitely something that has to be learned. But if you can find a good team player as well as a good player, I mean, I think you've won the jackpot.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
The last question I have for you is around COVID, and I know COVID is kind of shaking up the world. Can you talk a little bit about how you've seen it change the recruiting landscape, as well as what do you think it's going to do for college tennis in the future?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this fall season has been almost completely shut down, other than the SEC and I believe it was like Big Ten, or Pac-10 or Pac-12. I forgot what other conference did it, but they did those hidden dual matches throughout the fall because all the fall tournaments were shut down because they're trying to get through football, because that's the big revenue generator for the schools. So they got to shut everyone else down. Um, but yeah, no, it's been very, very interesting. Coach it, with SAT and ACT being waived. And there's just a lot of different dynamics that it's still pretty uncertain in terms of what the future is going to look like. I'm hoping I haven't heard anything in regards to spring season being not being played. I know some people have. I'm pretty sure I saw one BYU posted the other day about their conference tournaments at the end of the year. They're not playing them. So
Mm.
if you're the regular season champ, you win and you get the bid into NCAA's, which is very interesting to me. I don't know how I feel about that, but because like ACC tournaments, like that's almost NCAA's for us. When
Yeah,
we
that's
were,
as good as it gets, right?
it's huge. You've got. I mean, when I was there, you've got UVA, UNC, Wake Forest, all in the top five, and so I mean, you've basically got the NCAA tournament happening. And if you win that, we made semis a couple times, and that was huge. Um, and with the, there's a lot of moving parts. I think people are waiting to see. Obviously, it's election year. Emotions are high and everything like that. So we'll see how the dust settles here going into January. I'm fairly certain they'll be playing matches. They might, be not letting as many spectators in or something, or socially distance or something like that. So we'll have to see. But as far as recruiting goes, honestly, I think it was a very unique time because we are trying to leverage social media to really promote and get out to colleges and also players. And it's actually been a perfect time because it's really the only thing that you can do, especially there in the beginning, back in April, May. I mean, tournaments were completely shut down. They stopped playing everything,
Yeah.
and so for us to kind of dive in and get on virtually, I feel like really, gave us a leg up, and we were really, were able to get some good exposure. And every good thing, still takes time to build. It's not like you just turn on a light switch and it's just like, oh, everything's just rainbows and butterflies. You still got to work at it. And so on the recruiting side, we're still grinding away, helping our players, trying to, we've got a lot of spots. I'm reached out to pretty much every single college coach in the country because, as you know, needs for positions change year by year. And so it's not like you can just go off, you can go on UTR and look at a roster for a coach for a school and say, oh, they have 3 seniors this year. So that means they're going to have 3 spots next year. Those 3 seniors could be on walk on. You have no idea what scholarships available there. And so we actually reached out to every single college coach in the country and have over 300 positions available that we know are available for 2021. And so, we kind of reverse engineered it, and that's how we're promoting. So if a kid's a 10-5 UTR, I'm like, okay, here's the 18 schools that are looking for, a player in the 10-5 UTR range. If you're a girl who's a 9, here's the 10 schools that are looking for that, and that process has been fairly good for us. Because that's not an easy thing to do. That's a lot of emails, a lot of time, a lot of effort to get that information, because you can't just like web scrape it, get it from wherever. You got to actually reach out to every single person and get that information. So, I think we really stepped up to the plate during COVID, found some innovative ways to really differentiate, CTR from the other platforms. I'm really want CTR to have the best social media presence of any other recruiting firm in the country, in the world. And I'm really pushing hard for that, just because that's your target markets, juniors and seniors in high school. Where are they? They're on social media. So, if you can be providing good content, get the coaches on the page, get some ex-players, some current players on the page, post some funny content, some good content, make it relatable, make it fun, make it easy. It's not, I mean, it can be a business and you can have fun doing it. So, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. But yeah, no, there's a lot of changes, a lot of things changing. You just got to, keep your ear out and figure out what's best and what people are looking for, what you're able to do, and really move with it. So,
Yeah, I mean, you said so many good things there, but I think
yes.
for one, I like how you guys are, rolling up your sleeves, and like you said, you reached out to every college coach in the country. I mean, that's sometimes there's no easy solution or easy way to get to, the answers you're looking for, but to be able, like you said, to reverse engineer it and know who's looking for what type of player, and then share that information out. Here's 18 schools you can go to. I mean, that's imagine, I mean, I just think about myself. Imagine someone saying, hey, Chris, here's 25 schools looking for a player at your level. Then it's like, okay, what school is going to be the best fit for me, as opposed to, me emailing every coach or here's my recruiting reel or something like that. So again,
Yeah.
man, I really like what you guys are doing. I see CTR, and it's much easier for me to say. I like the abbreviation CTR, but I see you
Yeah.
guys, being like a household name, because I really truly believe that, COVID has forced us all to create things that, will expand and make the world better in the future. And I think this is definitely something that is needed. A good, a good recruiting company, not just, there's tons of recruiting companies, but most of them, in my opinion, are not great. So I really like what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what we looked at and saw some things that we felt like, could be revamped. The recruiting industry is a bit saturated. A lot of people trying to do the same thing. And so that's what we're like, okay, if we want to get into this, you got to differentiate yourself. You've got to make it different. You don't need to just post up here's a social media profile for a coach to come see. That doesn't do anything for anybody.
Right.
And we're gonna try and recruit on as many players as we can, and we're buddy buddy with 10 coaches over here, and we just off you at these schools that we're friends with. No, we're trying to make it as broad on the coach side, and honestly, we're fine with it being a very more personable and relatable boutique approach with the players, and we really want to have some good success stories on the player side and offer some really good value to the coaches that we're able to recruit to. So that's what we're running with.
I like it. I like it. I like it. So where can everybody follow you guys on social? Always like to
Yeah.
make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah. So the social media is, it's at college tennis recruiters _. We'd add the underscore in there because we had problems with the other social media page. So had to go underscore on that one. So but yeah, we're on there. We've got a website, www.collegetennisrecruiters.org. We're on there as well. And then I think, yeah, we have a Facebook page. We're focusing pretty heavily on the Instagram. So
Yeah.
that's where we're pretty active heavily on a daily basis out there. So